Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and we are so excited to welcome Chris Browning to the show as we gear up for season 5 of Amazon's Bosch. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank
This
you.
is huge.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what we can expect from you in this season of Bosch.
Okay, I play a guy called Preston Borders, and he's someone that, you know, the show's based on the book series, right? And Michael Connelly wrote 26 novels, just the Bosch novels. So there's one, they kind of base a season on one of the books. And this book is called Two Kinds of Truth. And it's about this guy, Preston Borders, that Bosch puts away in the 90s for killing a girl. And he was a rock and roll guy. He was like the long hair and the leather pants and, you know, 90s hair band kind of look, you know? And anyway, so now he's been in prison for 23 years or something, and some new evidence has come to light. Someone else has confessed to the crime, some new DNA has shown up, and so the plan is, he's lawyered up, and the plan is to get out of prison and sue the city and make a bunch of money, and so the question is, people start to look at that, like, what did Bosch, you know, railroad this guy? You know, did he maybe cross the line to get his guy, or the guy that he was sure was the guy?
Oh, well, we have a look at this Amazon series. Let's take a peek.
Oh, nice.
You framed the wrong guy.
You're a broken record.
You know, me getting out is just the first step. Because we're taking you down.
We? What, you and your lawyer?
Coming after your job, your house, your whole career. I'm going to be a rich man. After I walk out of here, you're going to watch cell doors swing open in every prison in the state, and the men you put inside gone free. That necklace was never in my house. You planted it.
Or was it?
Nice try.
Wow.
You have such an innate ability to play such deeply intense and complex characters. And we've seen this throughout your career in Hollywood, from the Book of Eli and working with Jon Favreau. Tell us what your experience has been like that, and what are you drawing upon in a moment like that scene?
Well, that I did a lot of involuntary research by going to jail a lot. You know.
Worked itself out, didn't it?
I ended up using it, but yeah, I used to be kind of a run-amok drug addict, you know, guy who was going to jail all the time, and so I studied those guys, you know, and I got a break in a movie called Felon about 10 years ago, where I originally read to play the public defender, and I really wanted to see if they had cast this other role, this Danny Sampson guy, who's the head of the Aryan Brotherhood, and you know, and it was a role that I, you know, might not be put with a big name. So I asked if I could read for that, if it had been cast, and the director had left word that I could read for it, but not to get my hopes up. He said, I really kind of see you on the other side of the bars. But he didn't know how much I've been on that side of the bars. And so I went to a makeup artist, and a friend of mine, and she put this big mustache on me and got me all slicked back and put on the, you know, the tank top and got pumped up. And I saw him in the hall the next day, and when I was waiting to go in, and I said, "Hey Rick, how you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, hey man." He didn't know who I was.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was in a shirt and tie the day before. And anyway, he goes, "I was wrong. You're Danny Sampson." So that was my first convict role.
I love that. You know, we say, we've had, of course, many actors on here, and we look at acting as almost one of the highest careers in this life, because we're really just playing these actors, and this, you know, it's really a pretense, all this stuff. And I think it's so cool that acting, you get to play all these different things and have new perspective, and it's a whole different spiritual experience in of itself. What's that been like for you?
You know, that's very true. That's a good point, because I think for me, and I think for a lot of people, you get to that point where because I don't know, I mean, many actors are very insecure, at least I am. I'm my worst critic, but when I get enough experience to know that I can do that, when I have a thing like the Book of Eli, where I'm like, I can do this, I can hang with the big boys, you know, and get out of all that fear And then you get in that thing you were talking about, where you're actually in a scene and it's working, and you're believing what you're doing, and they're believing, and everybody's just kind of being those people, and you're kind of just grooving, right? And it's a thing. It's a spiritual thing. It just kind of goes on autopilot, and you don't have to worry about what your next thing is. It just happens. And
Magic.
It's a magic thing.
Book of Eli is still one of my favorite movies of all time, man. Really, and your role in it was fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Is it surreal to you to look at where you are now in your life versus where you were before? I mean, how did you get there? How did you get here?
Well, you know, I'd been in the '90s. I'd been a regular on a couple of sitcoms, and you know, so I have a little span there in the middle of my career where I was just a run-amok drug addict, and you know, I always tell people I tried heroin once for 6 years, and that was, you know, I lived in the bushes next to the 405 freeway for years, or I was locked up. You know?
Wow.
And so it was nice. It was a cool thing for me because I get to use it. You're an actor, so you have all these experiences, and you have a lot to draw from that period. But also, it really made me appreciate what I didn't appreciate before. You know, I went from the Malibu beach house to living in the bushes, and so when this stuff comes back to me and I get a second chance, then I really appreciate it. And especially coming from that life. I mean, it was the first couple of years I appreciated waking up in a bed, you know, waking up in clean sheets, you know. So all of this stuff that I used to take for granted, I really appreciate now.
How did you turn that around, dude? I just got to ask, how did you turn that around? Was it just willpower?
No.
No.
God, no.
Yeah.
No, the willpower thing was what kind of kept me in
Yeah.
it. You know, it's like thinking that I could control stuff. But it's you know, I just kept trying, and I kept trying and going to all these different detoxes and rehabs and stuff, and you know, for whatever reason, just finally one of them took, and I wanted to have it. You know, it took me 12 years to get 3 months clean. Wow. I couldn't get to the 3-month mark. And so I finally did that, and I was like, okay, I want to keep this. You know?
Well, we're so grateful
So
for
grateful.
you.
So awesome. Thank you
and
for sharing.
Thank you for being so authentic and real with your story. Congratulations on Bosch. We're excited for the season 5 premiere happening
sure.
on Amazon soon.
Tell people where they can find and follow you personally on social media.
Social media, Hijack. I'm Hijack Leader.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
That's a pretty
was-
long handle, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
That was my
Memorable.
that was my name in Book of Eli, and that was kind of a turning point for me where I really felt like, okay, I can do this if I. So it was a special little moment in my life. So that's my handle in most, you know, on Twitter and Instagram. Although on Twitter I mostly just yell at Trump.
Thank you so much for being such an inspiration for so many. Amazing.
Truly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay
Thank you
tuned.
so
We'll
much,
be right
Bob.
back.
Thank you.